On his hands and knees, Tavin dragged himself away from the doors and into a corner where shadows covered him like a cloak, embracing him with a cool, earthy scent.
This adventure is much more than a great story. It's Nanaimo author C.J. Gosling's first book, Shadowlands: The Guardian.
I still can't get over just like opening up the box and looking inside and seeing my book in print. I think that's the first thing that every aspiring author dreams of. All I want to do is hold that book.
Hey, Charity! One more.
Charity's dream has been realized because of her new relationship with Brighter Books Publishing House, a new Nanaimo publisher that is focused on quality writing for children and youth.
Now that we have really defined what we want from our stories, from our books, the books that we're putting out there, all the authors that are coming and that I'm taking the stories, they're very similar to me. They have this passion for books, and there's a great synergy between me and these authors.
And between Charity and Angela, there is synergy, but there is also a sense of meant to be.
When I was working on my book and when I was working at getting it out there and finding a publisher for it, I went to several different conferences, and at one of these conferences, surprise, I met Angela. And the reason why it was such a surprise is because we were actually neighbors, and I had no idea that she was starting up a publishing company, and she had no idea that I was writing a book. And I think it got the wheels turning for her, because a couple months later she came over, knock, knock, knock on my door, and she said, these things just don't happen for no reason at all. I need to read your manuscript.
And when I read Charity's manuscript, I just saw just such a great story, and the potential for visuals and the illustrations, that it was just amazing. So I just I said, hey, how about we join forces and let's do this book together.
For Angela, working on The Guardian didn't just mean going through the publishing steps of editing, layout, and printing. She also became the book's illustrator.
We were looking for a different illustrator, but she really liked my illustrations. And every time I showed her somebody, she would tell me, I really liked yours better.
It's kind of like making something that is not real into something that is real.
Their decision was fitting, as it was in part Angela's background and illustration that motivated her to start up a publishing house. But in a world where online publishing is really picking up, and where there is considerable environmental concern, Angela was left with a tough decision.
In my mind, I love real books. I love paper books. I can't deny it. I love the smell of them. I love everything about them. But at the same time, if you think about it, you are destroying trees, you are destroying paper. There is a living thing that goes into making that book.
And so a number of unique solutions come into play. Though some still do come by mail, manuscript submissions are requested electronically, a tree is planted for every book copy printed, and books that are published are printed using print on demand, which cuts back on potential overprinting and opens up new potential for what Angela dubs as a living book.
The Living Book Project keeps the book alive by every year or every 2 years, or when there are enough ideas, the author puts those ideas together, and we publish the book again as an extended version. Kids, let's make books together, that kind of thing.
For Charity, writing and rewriting is just a part of what she does daily now, and as The Guardian is actually book 1 of her 4-book Shadowland series, it's getting ready for a newly forming fan base that is her newest challenge.
It's very strange. You don't start out as an author because you love being in the limelight. You start writing because you've got a world going on inside of your head and you like to sit alone somewhere with a computer. So to make the transition from that to meeting people and to interacting with people and getting excited about being in the public eye is an odd transition to make, but it's fun.
And for Angela, Shadowlands of The Guardian is the first project of many to come.
I feel great when I'm up until 5 in the morning working on these books. It sounds crazy, but it just makes me so happy to see them coming to life.
In Nanaimo, for Shaw TV, I'm Derek Johnstone.